What if I told you that when you stop eating might matter as much as what you eat? A new study suggests a simple timing change could improve your heart health. I'm your host, and this is Better Health Faster, where we cut through the noise to bring you evidence-based strategies that actually work for your daily life. Today we're exploring what researchers are calling chrono-nutrition, the science of how meal timing affects your metabolism, your sleep, and your cardiovascular health. Here's something that might surprise you. Participants in the study didn't change what they ate or how much. They only changed when they stopped eating. And yet, their blood pressure improved. Their heart rate became more stable overnight. Their bodies processed sugar more efficiently, all without counting a single calorie. So, what exactly is this 3-hour rule, and why does it seem to work? Let's look at what the research actually found. First, some background on why this matters. Your body runs on what's called a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that governs everything from hormone release to digestion efficiency. When you eat late at night, you're essentially asking your digestive system to work during its biological downtime. It's like forcing the night shift when your body expected rest. Previous research has linked late-night eating to disrupted sleep, impaired glucose metabolism, and even weight gain regardless of total calories consumed throughout the day. But what happens when you intentionally align your eating window with your natural sleep-wake cycle? That's exactly what researchers at Northwestern University set out to test. The February 2026 study was published in Arteriosclerosis, Thrombosis and Vascular Biology, a peer-reviewed journal from the American Heart Association. The trial lasted 7.5 weeks and included 39 adults classified as overweight or obese, ranging in age from 36 to 75 years old. About 80% of participants were women, which the researchers noted and acknowledged as a limitation for broader generalization of the findings. The control group maintained their normal eating habits, typically an 11 to 13-hour window each day, essentially eating from breakfast through a late evening snack. The intervention group extended their overnight fast to 13 to 16 hours by stopping eating at least 3 hours before bed. No other dietary changes were required. Both groups ate the same total calories per day. This is critical. Any benefits observed couldn't be attributed to eating less food overall. Here's where it gets interesting. Participants who extended their overnight fast saw their nighttime blood pressure improve by 3.5%. Their heart rate also showed better dipping during sleep, of 5% improvement. That dipping pattern is a healthy sign that your cardiovascular system is properly recovering overnight. Let me explain why that matters. When you sleep, your blood pressure and heart rate should naturally decrease, what cardiologists call dipping. It's your heart's version of rest mode. People whose blood pressure doesn't dip adequately at night have higher risks of heart disease, stroke, and kidney problems. So improving that dipping pattern is genuinely significant for long-term health. But the benefits weren't limited to cardiovascular markers. The study also found improved insulin response. Participants' pancreas released insulin more efficiently when challenged with glucose. This suggests better coordination between eating, sleeping, and metabolic function. The body seemed to process nutrients more effectively when given a longer overnight break. Dr. Daniela Grimaldi, the study's first author, put it this way in the press release from Northwestern University. She said, "Timing our fasting window to work with the body's natural wake-sleep rhythms can improve the coordination between the heart, metabolism, and sleep." She continued, "All of which work together to protect cardiovascular health." What's elegant about this finding is the simplicity, just timing, not restriction. Now, it's important to put this in perspective. This was a relatively small study, 39 participants, and it lasted less than 2 months. The participant pool was also predominantly female, 80% women, which means we can't automatically assume these results apply equally to men. These are the kinds of caveats researchers themselves acknowledge, and it's worth being honest about them. Promising early results don't equal proven medical advice. There's also some controversy in the broader field of time-restricted eating. A 2024 study made headlines by suggesting potential risks with certain fasting approaches. That earlier study found 8-hour time-restricted eating was associated with 91% higher cardiovascular death risk. but it had significant methodological limitations that other researchers have since criticized. The Northwestern study took a different approach, focusing specifically on aligning fasting with natural sleep patterns rather than arbitrarily restricting eating windows during the day. This matters because the timing wasn't arbitrary. It was designed to work with your biology, not against it. The 3-hour buffer before bed gives your digestive system time to wind down. The extended overnight fast 13 to 16 hours aligns with the body's natural cortisol awakening response, when metabolism is primed to break the overnight fast. Think about it this way. You're not restricting food, you're reorganizing when you eat to match when your body is best equipped to handle it. So how might you actually implement this? Let's talk through some practical approaches, keeping in mind that any significant changes should be discussed with your healthcare provider. Start by identifying your typical bedtime. If you usually sleep at 10:30 p.m., that means your kitchen would close at 7:30 p.m. Work backwards from your sleep schedule. You don't have to make this change overnight. Consider extending your fast gradually, maybe 30 minutes earlier each week until you reach your target window. Plan your last meal to be satisfying. Adequate protein, fiber, and healthy fats help you feel full longer. A rushed, incomplete dinner makes evening hunger more likely. If evening hunger does strike, herbal tea can help. The warm liquid provides comfort without breaking your fast, and the ritual signals relaxation to your nervous system. Consider dimming your lights when you stop eating. It sounds simple, but light exposure affects melatonin production. Aligning both eating and lighting supports your circadian rhythm. Now, this approach won't work equally well for everyone. People with diabetes or those on certain medications may need to time meals differently. This is where consulting your doctor becomes essential. Shift workers face particular challenges since their sleep schedules don't align with daylight. The principle still applies: match eating to your sleep, but the specific times will vary. Individual responses to meal timing also vary based on chronotype, whether you're naturally a morning person or a night owl. Research suggests these biological differences affect optimal eating windows. The key insight from this study isn't that everyone should stop eating at 7 p.m. It's that working with your body's natural rhythms, whatever they are, may have real benefits. And unlike many dietary interventions, this one doesn't require willpower around food choices or portion sizes. The timing change is mechanical, easier to maintain than constant calorie counting. Of course, the quality of what you eat still matters tremendously. This isn't permission to eat poorly as long as you stop by 7. Nutrition fundamentals remain essential. If you're considering trying this approach, here's what I'd suggest. Start with a 3-hour buffer before bed and see how your body responds over a few weeks. Notice your sleep quality, morning energy levels, and how you feel when you wake. These subjective measures often reveal what blood tests might miss your body's direct feedback. Track what time you finish eating and when you go to bed for a week before making changes. You need a baseline to know if the intervention is actually helping. Remember that this is one study, albeit a well-designed one. The scientific process involves replication, other researchers confirming findings in different populations over longer time periods. Previous research from 2023 and 2024 established connections between dietary circadian rhythms and cardiovascular disease risk, so this study builds on an existing foundation. What excites researchers about chrono-nutrition is that it offers a potentially accessible intervention. Not everyone can afford specialty diets or gym memberships, but nearly everyone controls when they eat. This democratization of health interventions matters. The 3-hour rule doesn't require purchasing anything or following complicated protocols, just a clock and some planning. If this approach helps you, consider sharing what you've learned with others who might benefit. If you're finding our episodes useful, a like or subscribe helps more people discover evidence-based health information. The bigger picture here is that health isn't just about what you do, it's about when you do it. Your body isn't a machine running at constant efficiency. It's a rhythm. Meals, sleep, exercise, even medication timing. Research increasingly suggests that synchronizing these with your circadian biology may amplify their benefits. This study from Northwestern adds another data point to that emerging understanding. The specific finding improved blood pressure and heart rate dipping speaks directly to cardiovascular protection. Cardiovascular disease remains the leading cause of death globally. Any intervention that moves the needle on blood pressure and heart function deserves attention, especially one this simple. But I want to be clear, this is not a replacement for proven interventions. If you have high blood pressure, your medication isn't optional just because you started eating earlier. Think of meal timing as one tool in a larger toolkit. Exercise, sleep quality, stress management, and nutrition quality all contribute to cardiovascular health. This study adds another evidence-based option. So here's the takeaway. Research suggests that stopping eating 3 hours before bed and extending your overnight fast to 13 to 16 hours may improve blood pressure, heart rate, and insulin response. These findings come from a 7.5-week study at Northwestern University with 39 participants. Promising, but still early-stage science requiring further confirmation. This content is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making changes to your health routine. I'm your host, and this has been Better Health Faster. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more evidence-based health strategies every week. Until next time, take care of yourself.